Hello and welcome to another episode of the Best You interview series. It's Gary here again. Thank you as always for taking the time to join me today. And today I'm joined by entrepreneur, founder and podcast host Avy Schondorf, who is here to discuss her journey that inspired her to help drowning men. Now, Avy is not a lifeguard. I don't think that Avy
I
is a
actually am a
lifeguard.
lifeguard.
Oh, you know what? I was going to actually say, so Avy is a lifeguard, but we're not talking about the literal physical saving of men for today's conversation. Avy helps male entrepreneurs who are privately drowning in the journey of life. And a lot of the drowning experience comes from Avy's belief that if you have an ego, if you have especially a big ego, it is difficult to ask for help, which most times is a barrier that is present without us even knowing that it's there. Avy's journey has been wide and varied, from non-profit fundraising to social working to working with social offenders with a criminal background. And her journey thus far has inspired her to create her business called Alisto, which helps you build everything you could ever need to start a business and make it sustainable. And to do this, Avy and her team use a distant assistant model. I absolutely love that term. I don't know why it resonates so much with me. We'll get a chance to talk about that as the conversation develops. Avy believes that people want to care in life, but they just forget because they get too busy, which was a key inspiration behind some of the packages that Alisto offers today. Avy believes that work should energize, not extract, that your people were hired for their brains, not their inbox, and that delegation isn't a luxury, it's infrastructure. Avy says that for longer term scaling and success, you don't need more hustle, you need a better support system. Very, very, very appropriate to where I'm at in my journey today. Also, Avy, thank you very, very much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm never going to do my own intros ever again. I'm clipping this and I'm just going to play your voice, ensuring me anywhere I go from here on out. Thank you so much, Gary.
I love it. You know, it's such a pleasant surprise to get to like the second or third sentence of the intro, and then I thought I was being funny by saying you're not a lifeguard, and then you're like, you know what, actually I am a
I
lifeguard.
am.
Get your facts right, Gary, and that's brilliant, and I think that's going to really help with the spontaneity of the conversation today. So I like to do a little bit of a background in terms of the first question to get things going here, Avy. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey? I alluded to some of it there. We had a chance to connect prior to the call, of course, and just see where we wanted to take the conversation. But what happened in your journey to get you to to get you to the point and the spot where you realised a passion for the importance of helping drowning men?
Right. So my journey went all over the place because it took me a really long time to get through university. I actually just finished my bachelor's in social work May of this year after 15 years and
Wow,
a long battle
congratulations.
with the university. Thank you so much. So my journey took me all over the place, from nonprofit fundraising to working with criminal offenders to a lot of work in social services and mental health. But I have always really excelled in working with very difficult men
Right.
who people find abrasive. Um, Especially women really don't enjoy working with them. They're just kind of off-putting. Um, and I'm a person like that. I'm not a man, but that describes me as well. Um, and I got sick of it. I got sick of watching gender wars that are about nothing. Like, we're all saying the same thing. Everyone's saying literally the same thing. You're not seeing and hearing what I actually need, and you're not providing the support that I'm asking for. And then we dress it up for men, or we dress it up for women, and we call it a gender war, but we are literally all saying the same stuff.
Yeah.
And that's um ridiculous. So my jam is clarity, delegation, sustainability. It can't all be on your shoulders. It can't all be about you. Our value as human beings cannot be tied up to our productivity. And women feel that in a way that they feel invisible as well. But we have to be honest and say that men shoulder the brunt of that. If
Okay.
you're not producing, if you're not adding, then you don't have value as a human being, which is unacceptable. And my early work in nonprofits taught me, and in social services taught me, how often we overlook people who are barely treading water, especially men, because their job is to keep their head up and to keep everything strong and to keep the ship running, and everyone's going to look to you for answers. And if you don't have the answers, then again, you don't have value. So I'm going to go to the next person who's going to provide me with what I need and allow you to struggle on your own. But you're not simply there to provide framework for other people. You are also there to exist as a human being.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're the last person to ask for help. Because how can you ask for help in that dynamic, right? I didn't provide the value you anticipated of me, and you moved on to someone else or something else that is going to provide you that value. So who is left in front of me to ask to help me?
Yeah.
There's no one there.
Yeah. Which I imagine would compound whatever has gotten them to that spot in the first
Right.
place by the people just, simply saying, you're adding no value, we have to move on from there. Was there one pivotal moment that got you to the point where you said, in your words, I'm sick of this. This is too much. I have to do something. Was there that one moment, or was it a series of cumulative moments that compounded?
It was a series of cumulative moments. And really, when I looked back, my brain has this very beautiful gift that it gives me of complete and full thought packages, because it's always downloading something and doing something, and then it'll be like, here, we think this. And it's kind of all of the little tiny pieces that have happened throughout my whole life, starting with my father, who's a very difficult human being,
Right.
objectively. And if he's listening, which he isn't, but my mother is, I'm not ashamed for him to hear that. He knows that about himself. And that's why, I mean, I'm exactly like him. We are very, very, very similar human beings. But
Yeah.
I am much more palatable because I am a woman. I have learned from my social expectations how to make myself palatable to whoever. I'm going to change my tone, my look. I'm going to be a chameleon in whatever situation I need to be to get whatever I need. And that is what I'm going to do. And that is the way that women adapt in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Men adapt in the world by being more assertive, often aggressive when it takes a slightly wrong turn. But that's how you have to double down.
Yeah.
And I was so annoyed at that. There was one moment, now that I'm thinking about it, because everything kind of came together, but that one realization moment, I pissed at some man about something, who knows, right? And I was just so frustrated. And we were talking about energy levels. I have a thriving female neurodivergent entrepreneur group, and our coaching surrounds energy and levels of energy and energetic interactions. It's a really special, very special and unique place.
Yeah.
But the higher levels of energy, level 6 and level 7 of like building up positive energy, are compassion.
Yeah.
And the opposite of being really, really pissed off at someone and wanting to throw them at the wall is compassion. And we know that with our babies, right? You just want to shake the thing that won't stop crying, but like it's so helpless and cute, and you just can't. That taps into compassion, and that's why we don't murder our children. And the same needs to go for adults, because we are just grown-up children, and a lot of us are not grown-up children. We all carry those childhood wounds unless and until they've been dealt with. You will carry a childhood wound unless and until it's been dealt with. So I'm sitting there mad at some man about something and just raging. Like, I'm so infuriated that like 5 different men were asking me for things, and they all wanted me to solve their problems, and they all wanted me to figure things out for them, and they were coming to me, and none of them are paying me. Like, you're all expecting me to do this free labor, and you're all expecting me to, And I realized they can't go to anyone else because they
Yeah.
all have girlfriends and they all have wives and they all have something. But if they're coming to me, it's because they couldn't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that, like, let me chill out for a second and tap into compassion and realize, like, the solution to my frustration. I'm being selfish at the end of the day. The
Mhm.
solution to my frustration as a woman who gets tapped for free labor is to make sure that you always have someone who can help you.
Yeah.
And it's so simple when you say it that way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it just became about identifying, okay, where do we need the most acute help right now?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that is so powerful, and you have to truly, you have to just live through it to get to that point where you have that epiphany moment, or that, you know, conflict moment. You know, it sounds like most of the conflict was within,
Yeah.
within you, not so
It's
much
always me and my
with,
alter egos
yeah.
at
And
the
I,
conference table in my brain.
exactly, exactly. And I do also love a, special shout out to the energetic folks out there. My coach training was in energetic,
Yay.
coaching and the levels of energy, and anabolic and catabolic energy, and I absolutely subscribe to that. That's why I picked it to do that. And it's such a great reminder that, every now and again I get a little bit distant from that. So it was great to have that reminder again, to start to think about the higher levels of energy, and who
Yeah.
and what you need to be in the moment to give yourself the best opportunity to support yourself and others, and have the best experience that you possibly can in and of the moment as
And they can
well.
always balance. I'm a
Yeah.
Libra. I always find the balance of things. One is 1 and 7 balance, 2 and 6 balance, um, 3 and 5 balance, and then 4 is kind of weird. But you can play around with that also,
Yeah.
right? So often the entry point with men specifically, because they're so frustrated, is anger.
Yeah.
You enter at a level 2 so that we can together go to a level 6.
Yeah.
But I'm going to meet you where you're at right now because you're like, it's like, this is too stupid. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
Literally, what do you want from my entire life? I am doing my best, and you want me to what? Do more what? I don't know. But the thing is, there's also what's happening on the other side. And what the men don't know is, I know that you're doing 100%.
Mhm.
It's just that I'm doing 200%.
Yeah.
So I don't care or have any compassion for the fact that you're maxed out at 100% because I'm doing 200%.
Yeah.
So instead of being frustrated at each other because there's no room for extra at 100%, and there's no room for extra at 200%. So there's nothing left to pass between us.
Mhm.
There is no path of like where we can redistribute our energy or find some sort of spare pocket somewhere. It means you need external help.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so you mentioned that once you had that realization of, okay, this is where we're at now, there is a support requirement or need there. What is that acute, let's fix the immediate, or let's address the immediacy of some of these circumstances and situations. What did you end up finding? Like, what process did you get to get that understanding of that invisible challenge, essentially, that people are going through, to then say, this is how I can help?
Um, I listened to men. I went to bars and I went to networking events and I um, went on dating apps and I just spent 4 years talking to men. And this was before I put all the pieces together. Because again, my brain gives it to me as a parcel all done.
Yeah.
So I'm collecting all this data, all this data, all this data, and I literally have no idea what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. I just have learned to trust that, like, I'm stupid, but my brain is smart, so I'm gonna follow her. She knows what's going what's happening. Um and everyone is saying the same thing. Men, women, Everyone is saying the same thing, and they're saying I'm lonely.
Right.
I'm super lonely. Now, I have a distant assistant agency, and people are lonely. So there's a lot of missing data pieces in here. The people who are lonely, are they people who are alone? Actually, usually not. Because somebody who's alone by choice, they're great. They're doing good. They're going to the gym 6 times a week. They have 4 dogs. They make their own sourdough. They're doing good. They're living their best lives. People who are lonely are in relationships.
Right.
And that's counterintuitive. So where does loneliness come from when you aren't alone? It comes from being unseen and feeling invisible. So now that I understand that everybody's feeling invisible, the data that we need to collect is what's causing me to feel invisible. For women, what causes them to feel invisible is that they are just so completely and totally overloaded. They have full jobs, and then they are complete CEOs of their home. They really are working double time, and they're exhausted. And then they're just so angry at their husbands. So that's kind of where my data collection started from that vantage point, was from the complaints. Okay, let's listen to the complaints. What do you hate?
Yeah.
And I cannot stand that I have to ask him a million times to do things. I have to remind him so often. I have to, the consistent keeping a task open in your brain until it's been checked off. It takes up bandwidth that is precious.
Yeah.
And that is infuriating, and it feels like disrespect, and it feels like lack of care, because I freaking asked you to do it. And if you don't do it, then I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I want to do is be playful or romantic with a person whose face I want to smack.
Yeah.
That's bad for relationships. Really, really bad.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, men just don't get it. But they don't not get it because they're big dumb dummies. They don't get it because it's not their life. And there's no blame to be ascribed to that. That is a bigger patriarchal societal blame of a system that we are all part of. So when I tell you that you are such a freaking dummy because I asked you 1,000 times, you genuinely don't understand that the importance of taking out the trash right now when you asked me to take it out right now. You asked me to take it out. I put it on the list. When I get to it on the list, I'll take out the trash.
Yeah.
So simple. And that disconnect in communication, it's just missed communication. That's what miscommunications are. They're missed opportunities for communication. Because she didn't say, I feel disrespected when you don't take out the trash right now, because it creates another task list item in my mind that I feel like I need to keep track of. And he doesn't say, I heard you, I'm an adult, I'm going to get to it when I get to it.
Yeah.
But she might also have additional items that are dependent on the trash being taken out. I don't know what she has in her mind. 17 other items that may or may not be dependent on the trash being taken out right now. Because maybe there's a particular smell that's distracting her. Whatever. I don't know. We have a lot of needs. We need a lot of things.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But when a person doesn't know the help that they need to be giving, then they can't give the help.
Yeah.
So then the advice that women get in groups on the internet is, girl, divorce him. If he cared, he would care.
Yeah.
And that's true. But what if you care and you want to care, you just really don't know how to care?
Yeah.
And then I had to take a further step back and understand that this problem is so much bigger, because everything that I just described of having a list in your mind of tasks that are dependent on the trash being taken out, that's not the wife's job. That is not her job. That is a household job, but women are often particular. We like things done a certain way.
Yeah.
We are often frustrated when things aren't done in an expeditious manner according to my preferred methodology. And that leads us to become and be very impatient and jump to conclusions about the intentions behind the lack of action as we interpret it.
Yeah.
So that just means that the role of CEO of the household, that manager piece, we need to take it out. And then people get their tasks and everybody is working together in a collaborative environment. It removes the hierarchy.
Yeah.
When there is a hierarchy, when I feel like I'm your boss or God forbid your mommy,
yeah.
all play romantic time goes out the window.
Yeah.
Completely. And then people are just lonely and stuck and spinning and drowning and they don't even know why.
Yeah. So how do you get, you mentioned earlier, men just don't get it because we just don't get it in the way that, in context of what you were describing there. How does a man then go from that understanding to working with you to saying, don't quite understand what's going on here, don't know what the big deal is. She says I need a wee bit of help. I don't feel like I need a wee bit of help. Is there any services that you could provide? How, what does that transition look like? Because if you're completely unaware or unwilling to be aware of the challenges that the contribution you have to the challenges, how would that then manifest itself into taking affirmative action to say, I'm going to go speak to someone?
The red flag is, am I happy at home? When I walk in the door, do I feel light or do I feel heavy?
Yeah.
If you feel heavy, there's a reason that you feel heavy. And you might not know what it is. But I can tell you it's always the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
She feels overwhelmed. That's it. If she didn't feel overwhelmed, the energy in the house would be completely different. My house, while messy and chaotic, is very peaceful.
Right.
Because I'm good. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, then everything, the same mess that exists all the time, all of a sudden starts to make me itch.
Mm.
And if I'm feeling itchy, I guarantee you I'm going to make you feel itchy along with me. I'm not about to be here itchy on my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now everyone's uncomfortable together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't mean to like oversimplify, because there's obviously other things that people's lives are complex.
Yeah.
But not really.
Mm.
It's just that we're doing too many things.
Yeah.
And we were never meant to be doing this many things. And we are all in a capitalist system. We are all in a patriarchal system. It doesn't serve any of us. And it's the benefit of the system to keep us fighting each other.
Yeah.
Instead of looking outwards. But if the problems disappear, then we don't have to figure out if we have to fight or not, because the problem disappeared. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's irrelevant at this point.
Yeah.
This is my way of taking down the patriarchy.
So let's, in order to help you take down the patriarchy, let's talk about the distant assistant model. Yeah. and the packages that you have available that would help men that are in that drowning or potential drowning situation. How did that all come about? What do you have on deck right now? What sort of success stories have you seen?
Yeah, so the distant assistant model, the credit for the name goes to Jamie from Bottleneck DA. They are an incredible distant assistant agency.
Right.
They provide this is not sponsored by Bottleneck, but they provide distant assistance. Like, they'll recruit somebody for you and they'll be a direct hire into your business, and they are fantastic. Their distant assistants are amazing.
Yeah.
I needed more. I didn't need one person, because if I had just one person, I was going to break that person.
Mm.
So the way I started with a whole team.
Mm.
1 and then quickly 3 and then 5 and 7. And now we're at 15 in our internal team because I have too many ideas happening all at once. Then we were blessed to have AI roll out more ubiquitously, and we were able to integrate that. So we have these incredible distant assistant humans using the best of virtual assistant technologies, tools that we've built out, and we can customize for each and every one of our clients.
Yeah.
So from that point, we have an option to offer everything or just one teeny tiny thing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do anything standard in the middle. So an example of everything is I have an idea for a product in my mind. This is how we love to start with our clients. I have an idea for a product in my mind. I need to do a product rollout. A product rollout requires a business plan, strategy, operations, web design, web development, graphics, social media management, product development. And if we're talking about an in-person manufactured product, then I hope you have the subject matter expertise because we don't deal with that.
Yeah.
And then marketing, email marketing, funneling, sales, promotion, and the list goes on and on and on. So I might have a great idea for a product, but my idea is going to die with me. Mm-hmm. Unless you can take the idea and give it to the team. And the reason we love to start with this is because it's a great way of getting to know each other. You're actively building something out that is revenue generating, which means that when we're done building out this product, you should have the revenue to cover your team moving forward. Yeah. And you can keep ideating in that fashion. So that's our full team model. And that's what Alisto was built on, because that's what I needed. I needed everything all at once, all the time, right now, yesterday, because I thought about it and I want to see it in real life.
Yeah.
The other side, we do things that most distant assistant agencies don't do, like inbox management. Almost no agency will take on a singular task like that. But sometimes that's literally all you need. I just need this one thorn out of my side.
Yeah.
And our favorite way of offering just one thing is with mini packages. So the package for our lonely drowning men would be Not Your Wife. And the Not Your Wife package is household assistance by a distant assistant who is a human being who actually gets to know and care about your family. Like, she really cares if you enjoy the service that you're getting. She really cares if it's making a difference in your life. If it isn't making a difference in your life, she's going to change it. That's the beauty of our model, is that it's completely pick and mix.
Yeah.
It's just whatever you need, whenever you need it. So Not Your Wife addresses the main problems that you don't know your wife is having. Meal planning, a grocery list, scheduling, and scheduling reminders. If you know what you guys are going to be eating during the week and it's in a grocery list, she can send you the grocery list. Or, God forbid, you can take the grocery list off of your shared app and do the grocery shopping yourself without her reminding you.
Yeah.
I promise you, if you show up with the grocery list that was coordinated with the meal plan without her having to ask you, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
It's just a completely different shift.
Yeah.
If she doesn't have to remind you that soccer pickup is at 4 p.m. and you text her at 3:45, hey, I'm on the way to soccer pickup, but you didn't actually text her because the distant assistant reminded both of you, so she knows it's taken care of. She doesn't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
It creates a dynamic where men can step back into their generally natural comfort zone of leadership in the household in a non-domineering way. Just really collaborative. And women generally are very responsive in their energy. She's going to be very responsive to that. So that's not your wife, and that's how we're going to save, how we're going to save loneliness.
I
Prevent
love it.
loneliness in the world, the
Yeah, I love
capitalist
it.
world.
So the things that you're describing there, then, Avy, is that the hustle? Like let's take care of the hustly parts of life so that you can concentrate on the more important, emergent things that are going on that would help you continue to sustain and support your family.
Yes, because it's actually it's an additional layer to that. Because there's a lack of understanding. Again, not a lack of caring and not a
Mm,
lack of good intention, a lack of understanding because men weren't societally conditioned the same as women were.
mm,
Little boys and little girls are not treated the same.
yeah,
If you don't know, then how many times can I berate you for not knowing something?
yeah,
So then the obvious answer is, so then teach.
mm,
But we all don't need to be taking on more. It's not your wife. It's not supposed to be her job either. The fact that she took the job on is part of the problem. It doesn't need to be anyone's job
yeah,
because we weren't meant to be productivity machines.
yeah,
So by having a team in any area of your life, by having a team in your home,
yeah,
and just an extra person who can help you out there, you're able to focus on the important things at home.
mm,
In your Eisenhower matrix, we're only looking at important. There shouldn't be urgent, because I mean, there's always going to be urgent. There's human beings, but
yeah,
it should be urgent stuff that comes up in the moment, not urgent things that could have been planned and prevented.
yeah,
And then you get to be home, play a game, watch a movie, do nothing,
yeah,
cook together off of the meal plan that was provided with the groceries that you already bought and the recipe that's right there.
yeah, yeah. You know, one thing I'm thinking about here, the not your wife. I could imagine some people going, "Wait a minute, what is this? This sounds like something sordid or something that you should not be doing, and which is going to add to the angst that's created in the home." But once we get beyond that, how do you how do you evolve? Because families evolve. At one point football, soccer pickup is a thing, and then that's not a thing anymore. The reason I say that is from a position of experience right now, where my son has got his driver's license, he's got his own car. He went from being wholly dependent on me and his mum to get him places to being completely independent to getting his places. So, how does the not your wife evolve as life evolves? Do you have that structured in? Does it depend on the family? What does that look like?
It really depends on the family, but ultimately, not your wife is just it's an introductory package.
Right.
I mean, any family, whether it's through an agency or not through an agency, can avail themselves of a distant assistant.
Mhm.
There are tremendously qualified people. I recommend the Philippines. I absolutely adore hiring out of the Philippines. It's the only place I hire out of. You can go on phjobs.com and find somebody who is reputable and ask them for um their NCI clearance, which means that they don't have a criminal background, and get to work.
Mhm.
And delegate any number of tasks that you might need to delegate to them. There's
Yeah.
also tons of agencies that can help you with just a one-on-one distant assistant or virtual assistant who can also handle a myriad of tasks that you delegate to them. But it's about getting into the mindset shift of what is our jobs and what doesn't have to be our job.
Mhm.
Right? So with a family with older kids, now you guys hopefully have more time to prioritize other things. So what does that look like? That looks like vacation planning.
Mhm.
We want to go on a trip together, but like, who is researching everywhere that we're going?
Yeah.
Who's planning the restaurants? And like, I have my husband has a gluten allergy. I don't eat dairy. The older one doesn't eat anything except chicken fingers. So who exactly is spending 3 hours researching the restaurants in proximity to make sure that the menus have the correct food for every member of the family?
Yeah.
It's me. Not anymore. Now it's Jezel.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jezel. She manages my everything. Vacation planning, travel planning, regular scheduling. So even just texting with your son, hey, what's your schedule for this week? Like, is there anything big that's going on? I want to make sure I put it on the calendar so your parents know what's up.
Yeah.
there's a lot of ways to provide peace of mind if you get out of the mindset of we have to handle everything, we have to do everything, we have to, in an age where we're more connected and more disconnected than ever.
Yes.
So if we don't have the luxury of being fully disconnected, then we have to figure out a system that's going to serve us in the digital age. We're not going back.
Yeah.
We're going forward. So let's take advantage of a global workforce to lighten your load.
Yeah, I love the sentiment behind that. You know, I've often lived and said, you know, like, what is your time worth to you? You know, and if you're an hourly paid consultant or contractor or something, you have a wee bit more of a cognitive understanding of that to say, well, you know, when I'm at work, it's worth this amount. You know, okay, is that worth the same at home? Well, it's kind of different at home. I appreciate it's different at home, but you know, what does that look like? You know, and because sometimes, you know, even in my industry in terms of coaching as well, you know, you get to that spot where the value of things becomes a kind of thorny conversation, where someone says $5,000. I don't think it's worth $5,000, and you go, okay, well, you know, tell me what your time is worth. Tell me what the arguments are worth, and the detrimental situation that you're causing at home as a result of this, and the heaviness that you feel as you walk through the threshold of the door, and you know, adding all those types of styles of conversations. And so it's really trying to get people to know and understand there are certain things that you need to do with your time, that you need, it has to be you, and you need to be able to be your best as you're progressing or planning to progress these things. There are certain other things that doesn't need to be you, still need to get done, still need to be able to contribute to the ongoing harmony in the home. And you know, however, it doesn't need to be you. It doesn't need to, you don't need to have skill sets in that. You don't need to really truly pay attention to that. And how much is that worth to you? Do you see any resistance in terms of people kind of saying, yes, I know I need that, but there's no way I'm willing to pay for that. I'll fit it in somehow.
No, because the cost barrier to entry is super low. It's $100 a week, a little less than $100 a week. The pushback that we get is, number one, why are you marketing a cheating service? That's number one. At which point I would say, you know, if you were in the market for such a service, might I suggest lightening your wife's load? You might not need it anymore.
Yeah, very good answer.
That would be my response to that particular objection.
Yeah.
And the second objection that I get almost exclusively from women is tremendous offense to the name.
Yeah.
And I think that that's part of the problem, is that we've taken this on as an identity that does not need to be mine. That's not me. I am a lot of things. Babysitter for grown-ass adults is not on my resume.
Yeah.
And I would push back and say that the fact that you're feeling offended is part of the problem.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm going to get pushback on that, I think, for as long as we're around. And I'm happy about that. I think it really taps deep into the problem. People think I'm sort of trying to be cheeky and funny. Like, oh, that's a cute name. I'm not. I'm trying to punch you in the gut. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because we can't keep living like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely an alternative out there that's more palatable and enjoyable for everyone involved. Yeah.
Imagine getting to the weekend and instead of saying, okay, what do we need to do? What needs to happen? What errands have to happen? You have a list.
Yeah.
Right? This is a primary complaint of women, as men say, just make me a list.
Yeah.
You're like, you don't understand how much mental effort it takes to just make you a list.
Yes.
So have somebody else just make you a list.
Mm-hmm.
There is somebody who wants to make $5 an hour to write you a list. I will teach you how to find them. Through me, not through me, I don't care. Just go get you some help.
Yeah.
In any packaging that suits you, just go get help. Every single person I have ever met needs help.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. It's not exclusive for any particular type and style of family or such. Yeah. Yeah, true. Absolutely true. So, Avy, you know that this is called the Best You, and this is the interview series part of the Best You podcast. And what I take this opportunity to do is ask every single guest what regular practice that they employ to give Avy the best opportunity to be the best version of yourself.
Ooh. For me, the best me in a broad sense is systemizing and gamifying my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Everything around me is fun and colorful, and visual reminders absolutely everywhere. More specifically, my anchor and floater technique for scheduling my day. There's some things in life that are anchors. They cannot move. They have to be there. School pickup is when school pickup is. Otherwise, they're going to call Child Protective Services. And dinner time is when dinner time is, because everyone gets hangry. There are certain things that are anchors, and as your life evolves and as your children get older and as things change in your life, those are going to change.
Yeah.
Then there's certain things that are soft anchors. They really need to happen, but they don't need to happen exactly at a specific time.
Yeah.
I need to go to the gym 4 times a week. So for a soft anchor, I give myself an opportunity in my schedule to go to the gym.
Mm.
Right? Let's say at 7 a.m. or at 4 p.m. or whatever happens to work. It says gym ? In my schedule, because I've carved out the potential time to accept that task for the time block or reject it. And it leaves me the choice to do that. But it also allows me to make binary decisions. Gym, yes, no.
Yeah.
Then there are floaters. Floaters are tasks that need to happen. Maybe today, maybe this week. Different floaters have different time limitations, and those can move around based on your mental load, your capacity. Some floaters might become like harder floaters. If you have an assistant, they'll be able to kind of color code. You can kind of see my calendar behind me. Everything is color coded in very tiny blocks, and things can move around as necessary. But scheduling my day like that in my own brain and on my calendar allows me to identify what I have to do. And then I frame my day as, this is what I have to do. Everything else is bonus. Yeah. And it really allows me to be kind to myself and remember that, specifically as a neurodivergent person, I get a lot more done a lot more quickly than a neurotypical person. And I assume that your audience falls into that as well. I know that you do, Gary.
Yeah.
Then I know if I picked up and dropped off my kids and I went to the gym and I attended all of my meetings, check. I did good today. Today, good.
Yeah.
And everything else is bonus.
Yeah. Even simply having that conversation with yourself, whether you have a planning tool or not, sets you aside from probably previous versions of yourself, or certainly from many, many other people. Just saying what constitutes a good day today, and what are the absolute, I love the anchor versus the floater part. That provides a real visual representation. And I equally love the fact that you have a question mark on some of the things that can be more flexible. To say gym, maybe. Gym, not today. I'll
not today, maybe later.
Tomorrow.
I'm not feeling it. I am feeling it. Can I push myself? And I've sort of always had a version of this. When I had newborn babies, it was, am I wearing pants today? Not clean pants, not pants from the cupboard or not off the floor, just pants. If we're wearing pants, great day.
Yeah.
Great. It's not even good. Is baby alive? Good day. Yeah. Are we wearing pants? Great day. Yeah. Anything else? Complete bonus.
Yeah.
If I manage to shower, And these things change, they shift with
Yeah.
different times of our lives, and we have to be kind to ourselves. Your capacity now is maybe you have greater mental capacity now with age, but diminished physical capacity.
Mm.
That doesn't mean that you have less capacity. I
Yeah.
just said that you have more mental capacity.
Mm.
And we're so immediate to judge ourselves and be unkind to ourselves and
Mm.
hold ourselves to a past standard or a future standard instead of just being. You
Yeah.
are not a productivity machine. Your value is not dependent on your output.
Yeah.
Your job is to exist and do no harm.
Yes. I love it. I love it. What a way to end the conversation. I love that. Where can people find out more about you, Avy?
So you can find me at av.hd on Instagram and on all of the socials. You can find Alisto if you want help with delegating or your own distant assistant at alistovA.com. That's ALISTOVA.com. Yeah, and just everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, not Twitter.
Okay. Okay, I love it. Amy, this has been an absolute delight today. Thank you very much. Lots and lots and lots of food for thought in there. I really look forward to watching this episode back again to make sure that I capture the things that I would have missed in the moment. And I'm sure that other people are going to get value from it as well. Thank you very, very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Gary. And of course, you can always find Not Your Wife at notyourwife.com.
I love it.